My experience with pain body work has been, well, to summarize, it felt like, it's like going from being in the mud to being in clear water. And how that was achieved was, you can go into a session and talk about what you think is bothering you. And the journey that you take through the session brings you to something you were totally not aware of that you were reacting to. An example is, before I had this hand surgery, I came to the Body Mind Center to have a session to alleviate what I thought was just like natural pre-surgery anxiety. I had a sense there was something else to it, because my physician is one of the best hand doctors there are, and this was a much needed surgery, and it was going to alleviate the pain and the limitations I had been experiencing for years. But I still had this nagging anxiety. So we begin just discussing the nature of what I felt. And the steps in the session brought me around to realizing that the anxiety I was feeling that was triggered by this upcoming surgery was really something that got put in my head when I was 2.5 years old and had my tonsillectomy. I remember everything about that surgery. It was very traumatic, and I got in touch with the fact that that was my very first experience of pure terror, as in this body, in this life. And that my parents, you know, in those old days, in those hospitals, they didn't allow the parents to be around the kids when they were doing all the pre-operative procedures. And to a little 2.5-year-old kid, the parents were gone, and here all these strangers were administering, you know, weird stuff. What I perceived as, you know, scary and different stuff. I was in a hospital, so it was a different setting. My sister, my older sister, was having her tonsils out as well. And I had no idea when I came to this session. I didn't even think about this tonsillectomy that I was having. But it came up just through the steps that we take in the pain body release, the questions that I was asked, and where my answers led. And to make a long story short, because this pain body session went very deep, and it goes deeper in graduations through the session, and you get really deep with yourself, and it uncovers a lot of things of which you stay conscious of. It's not like hypnotism where, you know, you don't remember it when you wake up. You remember everything that you discuss during the session, and that's the beauty of it, because you can remember it later and go, oh yeah, that was that. So this session brought about this terror that I experienced. My parents, who were the two protectors that I trusted, you know, as a 2.5-year-old, your parents are gods. They are God to a little kid. And they abandoned me. They were not there. So, of course, they didn't abandon me, because they were in the next room freaking out, hearing me screaming on the top of my lungs. But this little kid felt abandoned, alone with her terror, and felt completely out of control. And that brought about in my life, that wrote on that clean page from that little kid that you have to have control. And that the people you love and trust the most will abandon you. Well, this got uncovered in that session. And it also made me realize that I have brought about having no control and trying to have control over many things in my life to try to heal that original situation. And that's really how pain body release works. This is a generalization, but it helps you uncover where the old programming came from, and it helps you to see, and you can get a glimpse of your whole life in a moment. Talk about life flashing before your eyes, because you remember, it's like, oh yeah, that's why I've always drawn things into my life that have made me try to work out that belief system and heal it.
With separation, there's sadness. You know, with some kind of violation, oftentimes there's anger. Mm-hmm. But once the separation or the violation is over, and if you've let that express through your body, not held it in, then pretty much the pain of that anger or sadness or grief passes, unless we go to extreme effort to keep them around. And I've been recognizing more and more in myself and with working with clients that what kind of efforts we go to. And it's really hard work.
With clients, a particular session with a woman comes to mind. I had her do a pain body release session using the CMR techniques, and she was, after she released an issue, it had to do with her mother. She, all of a sudden she said, "Ah, my neck, I can't believe it. I can move it. It was hurting so badly, and usually I have to be in traction to get over this, and it's just gone." And it remained gone. You know, I checked with her a few weeks later, it was still gone. So I thought that was a pretty powerful effect for something a client can learn to do for themselves. I'm just, you know, I can't really say enough about what a powerful technique that the pain body release is. So.
It's removing these obstacles in your life that really are obstacles until, you know, you don't realize that they are until you see them, that they actually are trying to stop you from doing things.
Yeah, and the truth is, I think if it's just at one level, if it's just in your thinking, it's not a permanent change that's going to really be helpful in your life. I think too many people are struggling to keep all of it down and contained. And with the pain body work and with this CMR sessions, it's like you learn how to get that released instead of stuffing it.
I feel like I have a real way of, I don't know how to say it, because the other trainings didn't include the body. Now, how crazy is that? Some of the training, or all of the trainings I did, didn't really include the body. I mean, first of all, I was totally out of touch with my own body, and none of the trainings really helped me go there. And so it was easy, it was an easy error for me to make. So to have to go into my own body and find the answers, first of all, it was a big surprise to find all this wisdom there. And it was also a celebration. It's like, wow, this amazing place exists, and it's not out there, it's not on any of these world travels, it's right inside of me. The last place I thought to look. The last place I hadn't looked, you know, so I had to wait till the end to find it. And yeah, to find it in myself and to know it exists in others, it really feels like a gift.